mind. Okay. So as I was saying before, I hit the record button this morning. I'm definitely thinking about all the folks who have been impacted by what looks like an incredibly powerful storm. Ice storms are really, really difficult. I have the pleasure of doing some emergency management work in my day job, and ice storms are incredibly devastating. So I hope everybody is staying safe and that cleanup is not overwhelming. And again, remember to take breaks and to breathe and to know that you are really not alone. And I hope that everybody will physically and emotionally come through this as best as you can. Eddie's obviously sending out some love as well. So I imagine some folks are going to be catching this after the fact on the recording when power is restored. So again, just want to acknowledge that we are all thinking about those who have been impacted. And I feel a little bit, well, I feel very privileged because the sun is shining brightly here today. And it doesn't always have to be that way. So for that, I'm grateful. We are going to do a practice today that's a little bit slower, a little bit deeper, a little bit more focused on stretching. And so not quite a yin program per se, but I want you to just kind of really tap into that connection between what happens when we stretch deeply and slowly and what happens when we match that with the breath. And it should bring us to this point and this place of just, letting the mind settle. And when the mind settles, I mean, the world around us, storms included now, there are political storms and, relational storms and weather storms and all of these things happening. And sometimes it's not just about reacting to that. Sometimes it's about taking that space and actually thinking about where I am, that approach to mindfulness. What's going on with me? What can I do? What can I not do? What are the levers that I can pull? What do I not control? How do I be an observer? How do I be a supporter? All of these different things that I know this community really focuses on. So today's practice is to bring us back into the physical, to allow for that kind of intellectual and spiritual realm to have an opportunity to come to life. And of course, Ted and Jeff are down with that plan big time. Okay, so I'm settled onto my block now. Hopefully everybody else is settled. Let's start, just soften through the face. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, great. If not, that's okay too. Lift up through the heart, through the chest, bring your shoulders back away from the ears. And as we sink into the practice this morning, let's just spend a moment sharing some energy with those who are not joining us today. Let's just send a little bit of love, a little bit of empathy. And now take that focus, bring it back to yourself, check in with yourself. How are you feeling? How are you existing in the world as it currently is? And now as you continue to deepen your breath, I want you to draw your attention to something maybe that you don't need anymore, something that is kind of hanging off of you, something that's not really a benefit. And just acknowledge it. And maybe just by bringing it into your focus, it'll give you an opportunity to create that pathway to maybe taking the steps you need to take to just pack that away. Now I invite you to continue that deep breath, really intentionally making it deep. And then I want you to focus on something that is to you a blessing. What is something that you are grateful for? And acknowledge that. Tied into that, allow yourself to feel that that is something that you are worthy of, that you deserve to have. Sometimes we say, I'm so lucky because of this thing. But we should say, I'm a good person and it makes sense that this thing is in my life. Oh, that's harder, isn't it? Good. And then let's slowly open the eyes. I've got my thing that I'm very grateful for right here. Teddy seems to be a little bit more cuddly today. Sometimes that happens when I'm trying to do some deep breathing and meditation. I can kind of get a sense that I'm putting out good energy when this little guy comes cozying up to me. All right, so still in our seated position, let's just roll our shoulders. It's bringing some gentle motion and movement to our physical selves. And then bringing the shoulders in a forward rolling motion. Good. Let's roll the head shoulder to shoulder. I like to do this just kind of on the front body, whatever works for you. Bring the head up and roll the shoulders back. Tighten through the core, lengthen through your neck, and then start to bring your head back. Let the jaw relax. Drop your shoulders away and breathe. Then bring your head back forward. Nice. We're going to do shoulder rolls a little bit more. Shoulder to shoulder. Bring the head up, shoulders back. And again, lengthening, letting your head tip back, relax through the jaw. And slowly bring your head back up. Awesome work. Shake out your hands. Bring your elbows up as you shake out your hands. Extend the arms, shake out the hands. This is harder. For some reason, I'm not coordinated doing this. And then bring your arms up while still shaking out the hands. And then palms up to the sky, stretching, maybe arching back a little ways. And the nice roll down. Good. Let's pop over onto the hands and knees. We're going to ease back into a child's pose, start to give the hips a little bit of a release, especially after sitting in a cross-legged posture. I'm going to bring my knees a little bit apart. Toe knuckles are going to come together. And I'm just sinking back and sinking down. And I'm going to invite you to hold the child's pose for a little bit of a longer period of time. Keep the breath deep and just notice as you're breathing what's coming up in your mind. Maybe you're going back to your blessings. Maybe you're going back to what do you want to kind of get rid of? And just notice that without judgment. From here, start to just move up onto the forearms. Flip your toes under, just kind of stretch them out here. And then we're going to sink back into our child's pose and walk your arms to the right. Reach as far as you can to the right and then sink back into the hips. You really want to pull through the left hip. You'll feel a deep stretch along the left side of the body and the left arm. And then sink back from that. Move over to the left side, same deal. Feel that deep stretch on the right side of the body. Good. Coming back to center, up to the hands and knees fully this time. Knees are going to come under the hips. Hands are going to come under the shoulders. And we're going to move into some cat-cow. So slowly and deeply breathing in, head and tail are lifting. It's kind of sometimes this first range of motion for me is where I start to feel where all the kind of blocks and restrictions are. And then exhale, head and tail tuck under, rounding up through the back. Inhale, head and tail lift. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, head and tail lift. Exhale, rounding. Let's go again. Inhale, head and tail lift. I'm laughing because Jeff has obviously seen something or someone outside and he's delighted that now he has a job to do. Let's reverse. Arching the back. Inhale, head and tail lift. And exhale, rounding. Good. Come to a nice tabletop and let's move into a thread the needle. So I'm going to take my left arm and thread it under the body, kind of under the, well, moving towards my right armpit. And I'm going to drop down onto my left shoulder, resting on my left ear, and just sinking the other arm down, hold and breathe. Pull the hand, pull your right hand back, tight through the core, and lifting up. Bring the left hand back down to the mat. So we're going to move to the other side right away. Sometimes I like to do a bunch on one side, but we're going to go to the other side right away. So I'm going to take my right arm, thread it under, and softening down to the floor. Lots of deep breath. Slowly pushing back up to a tabletop. Let's return to cat-cow. So head and tail lift, inhale deeply. Exhale, reversing, rounding the back. Inhale. And exhale. Breathing in. And out. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. And coming to a nice flat back. Okay. We're going to come back now to threading the needle, but we'll do it a little bit more actively. I'm just going to move so I have a tiny bit more space here. So I'm going to start with my left arm. So I'm going to bring it actually away from the body, looking up to the left side, twisting up, arm in the air, reach, reach, reach. And then coming in to thread the needle, dropping down to the shoulder for 3 breaths. When you're ready, we're going to release, bring that left arm back up into the air, reach, reach, reach. And then thread the needle, 3 more breaths. Here we go, one more time, reaching up into the sky, left side, reach, reach, reach a little bit further, and coming down. 3 breaths. Perfect. Slowly lifting back up, coming to your tabletop, nice flat back. And we're going to go, gosh, I have just word soup coming out. We're going to go to the other side now. So I'm going to start with my right arm, raising it up in the air. Nice twist here, reaching, enjoying the tension, and then thread the needle, come down, hold for 3 breaths. When you're ready, reaching up, twist, 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 lifting, and then coming down, thread the needle for 3. Last time, reaching up, see if you can go a little bit further back this time. Stretching and twisting, and then thread the needle, 3 deep breaths in and out. Good. Coming back up and comfortably lowering to the tummy. And I'm going to start here in a little bit of a lazy sphinx. So my elbows are coming back to the side body. Fingers are spread. My gaze is forward. I'm pressing the pelvis into the floor. Tops of my feet are pressing into the floor. So my back is not feeling super warmed up yet. So that's why it's kind of a lazy sphinx. Think of this as almost a high supported cobra. So just get a sense of how your back is feeling, upper, mid, and low. Include the neck, maybe stretching back a bit here. Again, do so by softening the jaw. And then we're going to sink down and bring your hands back to the armpit area. Hug your elbows in to the side body. And we're going to do some rounds of cobra. We're going to do this on the breath. So when you're ready, breathing in and lifting either in a baby cobra, just using your back and core muscles, or you can lift up with the arms and slowly down, exhale. Inhale, lifting, roll the shoulders back and away and coming down. Inhale up. If this doesn't work for your arms, readjust and coming down. Inhale, lifting up, maybe coming higher. Exhale down. Do a couple more of these. Floating up, gently down. And how about one more, lifting up, maybe a little bit higher, and down. Good. Bring your hands forward and just turn your head, resting your cheek on the backs of your hands. Let your heels flop out to the sides. And breathe. So in this position, because of how gravity works, there's a really nice sense of really emptying the lungs. So join me in taking a slow, deep breath in. Keep breathing in a little bit more, and then really blow it out. Notice that feeling of emptiness, and then start again. Inhale slowly and deeply. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and then release. Notice the empty.
Turn your head to the other side, same thing, deeply inhale. Deep inhaling. And then release. Be empty. Inhale. Breathe in, breathe in. Exhale completely. Good. Head to center, hands come back. We're gonna pop up and onto the hands and knees. From here, let's just gently walk back to a child's pose. I'm gonna bring my knees even further apart this time. And maybe positioning my hands so elbows are out. Hands are stacked on top of each other and my forehead rests on the backs of the hands. Good. Hands are forward now, pushing up, flip the toes, up and back to a down dog. We're going to hold this for a little bit of time. So start maybe on the toe base, bent knees, let the head hang. And slowly draw your attention to what's happening all the way up the calf muscles, up the hamstrings. Start to tuck the tail. Drop back down to your hands and knees, uncurl your toes. Start to walk back. Roll your shoulders. You can either stay here as hero or you could do this with your toes flipped. Or a little bit of a stretch, which is what I'm doing. Breathe deeply again. Good. Back to the hands on the mat. Sort your feet out. And we're going to come back into downward facing dog. So pushing up and back. And notice how things feel second time around. Are things starting to release? Anything not feeling good? Is there any way that you need to adjust? Maybe you're gonna bend one knee and then the other. Take a few more breaths here if you can. Really see if you can get those hamstrings to start to release. And then let's walk the hands back towards the feet. Bend your knees a little ways. Drop the head. Actually resting my tummy on my thighs. Head is hanging. And then pushing into the floor, slowly coming up bit by bit by bit. Then come on into a standing position and just let
Let all the things relax. Get. All right. I'm I'm acknowledging as I watch somebody jog by my house. I'm I'm sure this is a terrible trait, but I'm so nosy. I live on a fairly quiet road. I'm like, who is that person? So now I'm suddenly like, I know where Jeff gets that from. He gets that from me. I'm completely distracted by a person and going like, I wonder who they are. Where are they living? Are they visiting? Do I know them? Are they nice? Would they be fun? They're running so fast. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, okay. It's so nice that in the midst of a yoga practice, I'm overwhelmed by monkey mind and distraction. Guess it shows why yoga is a lifelong practice. All right. Let's start to work in a standing posture so I can see out the windows. Bring your shoulders back, and feet are going to be just a tiny bit wider than hip width apart. Spread your toes, lift up through the arches. Chest is forward. Let's bring the fingertips kind of behind the base of the head, just kind of not lacing them tight, but just kind of like the fingertips poking into the base of your skull. Good. We're going to take a breath in, getting taller, opening up the elbows, leaning back so you feel the pressure of the fingertips on the base of your skull. Take a few breaths. And then slowly keep the core tight, keep the hips tucked under. We're going to bring the elbows closer together and tilt the head forward. You're not rolling through the shoulders, just bring the head forward. A little bit of weight from the hands and arms. A little bit of a bend in the knees. Coming back up, let the arms come back and down. And take a couple of breaths. Let's do that again. So fingertips behind the base of the head, opening up through the elbows, and then really opening up as the head starts to tilt back. Feel the pressure of the fingertips on the base of the skull. Feel that stretch through the core of the body, shoulder blades coming together, and then slowly kind of reversing out of this. So the elbows come together and you start to tuck your chin into your chest. Release the arms from here and then roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Nice. Okay. Once more. Fingertips behind the head, elbows come out. Lifting up, leaning back. Maybe go further. And then starting to reverse it, guiding those elbows forward, the weight of the hands and the arms, bringing the chin to the chest. Soften your shoulders while you're here. Release the arms down. And then roll everything up and back. Good. Take a wide stance on the mat. Really nice breaths here. Extend your arms out from the heart. We're going to hold this starfish pose for a few moments. So tighten it up, tighten through the core, tuck your hips under, engage through the glutes. Activate along the backs of your arms here, or I guess it's the tops of the arms. I don't know, back and front. I don't know what part of my arms that is anymore. Holding here. Notice where you start to feel some tension in this posture. Good. And then sweep the arms up, connecting the hands over top of the head. Lengthening here even more. Lean to one side. Keep stretching. Breathe into the tension of this stretch. And then let's come back to center. And then moving to the other side. Again, breathe into the tension that you're creating. All the way up here. Slowly start to swan dive forward and down. Plant at least your fingertips and then let the head drop. I'm going to leave my left hand on the floor and my right arm and hand start to rise up, coming into a twist. Notice where you feel this. Maybe it's in the arm and shoulder. Maybe it's in the opposite inner thigh. Just notice and breathe. Slowly bring the arm down. We're going to switch to the other side. Noticing, welcoming these sensations. Breathe into the stretch. A little bit further. Bring the arm down. Drop your head. Tight through the core, sweeping up. Grab that energy and bring everything back to heart center. Roll the shoulders down. Good. I'm going to bring a foot out on the side, popping the opposite hip back, extending my arms again, leaning into that forward fingertip. Legs stay straight, coming into the triangle. It can be a lazy triangle. You can have your hand wherever is comfortable. But you want to really think about getting that chest open and legs stay straight and strong. Lots of deep breaths. If you're hinging forward, keep open. A little bit further. We're going to do a little bit of a pinwheel here. Bring that top arm down. Pivot through the back, foot and toe. Sink into a lunge. And this is a lifted lunge. So I'm coming up kind of proudly on my fingertips. Shoulders are back. I'm on my back toe base. And then I'm going to start to sink down into this a little ways. So really starting to move my knee into my armpit. Keep the breath deep. Explore the sensations. Welcome them. Now to come back up, you are welcome to crawl your way back up, or maybe you want to windmill up and open back to that starfish. In my mind, that was going to be very graceful. In practice, not so much. It was a little, that's okay. That space between kind of fantasy and reality is often where we experience growth and learning. Keep holding here, keep breathing. Sweeping the hands up over top of the head, lengthening. Let's lean into one side, breathing deeply. Really experience the stretch and then come back up to center. Lengthen, 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 and moving to the other side. All the way back up. Releasing, bringing the hands to the heart, roll your shoulders. Good. Let's sweep up. Swan dive down slowly, mindfully. Whichever hand you did not lift to the sky the other time we did this, I'm still trying to remember which side I need to do. I think it's my left arm coming up this time. So I'm going to twist up, bring that up to the sky, breathing deeply. Let the arm come down, switching to the other side, lifting up here. Releasing. Sweeping back up. Into that starfish. I'm gonna pivot my front foot here. Pop the hip back, reaching towards that fingertip. And now we're doing the triangle on the other side. Notice if it is different. Notice if it's the same. This is sometimes when I'm like, am I on the same side as I was before? If you're leaning forward as I was, keep the chest open, keep the breath deep, breathing into the stretch. And then when you're ready, you start to bring that hand down, twisting, pivoting. Turn it into a high lunge. And then sinking more deeply into the lunge, knee in armpit. Lots of deep breath. And then I'm going to drop my back heel and moving back up. Lots of deep breath. Bring the hands together over top of the head. Once more, lean into the left or whichever side. Straightening up. Leaning into the other side. Straightening up. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Good. Bring those feet back together. Excellent work. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll. Notice if you have any tension. I'm checking my time and checking my list of 5 million things to do. And I think I know where we need to go next. Not everybody's joy, but let's come down to the mat, just sitting on our bums with our feet forward. Good. Nice and tall, shoulders back. Moving the bum flesh out of the way. Good. So my feet are flexed, my toes are moving up towards my knees. Hands are going to be down on either side of the hips, and we're going to come into a fairly intense posture here. So really feeling those legs pulling forward. Heels are now lifting off the floor, toes starting to come back towards the knees. Lots of deep breath. And then soften into the posture. Move your fingertips to either side of the knees or maybe a little bit in front. Lift up and forward through the chest. Shoulders are coming together. And very slowly starting to lower down. So we're not rounding down, we're actually leading with the heart. Go as far as you're comfortable, maybe about 45 degrees would be good. You want to bring your hands to the feet, you could, or ankles. Really working with the breath here. And I'm trying to keep my head up. Good. Move all the way up. We're going to move into a 90-90. That's the part that people don't love, myself included. So I'm going to bring one leg into a 90-degree angle. My back leg is also going to come into a 90. Adjust so that heel bone or ankle bone is on a little bit of padding. And then do a physical check. As soon as I come into this posture and I'm saying 90-90, I know what a 90-90 looks like. Yeah, my back leg wants to do this and my front leg wants to do this, and that's not 90 or 90. I don't know what this is. So make sure you are positioned well. I'm still kind of facing forward at this point in time. And I just want to kind of physically adjust my hip down. I may not be successful, but just kind of giving a sense of what might be possible. Good. Now we move towards that front leg. Hand on knee, hand on ankle. Start to ease down. We want to go with the breath. And then maybe we bring the hands out to different points. I've got my left leg forward. It's probably possible for me to lean down onto my left elbow or forearm. That means my right arm is free to sweep over and reach towards my left side. So work with your breath here to go deeper into the posture, or as some might call it, deeper into this discomfort.
Let's walk our way back up using our hands. Flip the legs so they are going the other way. And again, just be mindful of comfort of the ankle bone. Oh my goodness. This guy is out cold. I didn't even realize he was there. All right. I also sleep this well in the daytime. At night, however, not a chance. All righty. So back we come, start to see if that hip will release. This side for me is a hard no. So then we start to face forward. Ooh. I'm really glad I started on the other side. This side's going to be much tougher. I've got a hand on the ankle, hand on the knee, and I'm going to start to ease down. Breathe loudly and deeply. Let the breath guide you into the space. And walk your way back. Good. Come on up from that. Move into the cobbler or a butterfly. Here, seated butterfly. Soles of the feet come together, shoulders are back, neck is long. I love to hold the ankles in this position. It allows me to push the heart forward. Lots of deep breath. Good. Releasing here, press the knees up and together. Excellent. We're going to come on to the back now. So just get comfortable on your mat. I'm going to make sure that I have room to do a little bit of a twist here. The mat needs to come forward, away from the furniture. Oh my goodness. Nothing's ever graceful. My gosh. All right. Settling down onto the back, maybe bringing your arms out and back like you are a cactus. And have some deep breaths here. Bring the feet to the outer edges of the mat. And slowly start to lower them down to one side. And then slowly moving to the other side. Just go at your own pace, kind of exploring this range of motion. Again, let the breath guide you. If you find a spot that feels really tight or really awesome, feel good about spending some more time there. Don't forget the breath. All about the breath today.
All right. Bring the feet together, hip width apart. Arms can come down, resting at the sides. We're going to do a number of bridge lifts. We're going to do this on a breath. Feel your shoulders on the mat. And when you're ready, let's inhale, lifting up through the hips, nice and tight through the core. And exhale, slow breath out, slowly descending to the floor. Inhale slowly up. Exhale slowly out. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Create a figure four now using the side of your left foot resting on top of the right knee. You have two choices here. You can either start to pop that foot up and pull back. Actually, let's all do this to begin. It's kind of a lazy figure four pull back. And then bring that foot back down to the mat. You can either repeat that or you can lock this in place and start to lower and twist so that this foot that's resting on the knee has the possibility of coming right down to the mat. And then you can just open your arms up, stretching through the upper body as you feel is comfortable. If this is too intense a stretch, just do that figure four pullback. Gonna untangle and bring everything back to center. Let's create the figure four on the other side now. Pull that knee in. Slowly releasing that foot down. Again, if you would like to do that twist, you're gonna let it happen, bringing the foot down, knees coming up here. Arms are wherever they are comfortable. If that doesn't work for you, just do the other round of the figure four, pull back. There's a lot of intensity in this stretch. So again, match that with the breath. And then untangle, release, pull the knees into the tummy, gently rocking from side to side. Keep one knee into the tummy, stretch out a leg. Switching to the other side. And then start to move into whatever position feels good for Shavasana. Completely surrendering to your mat and surrender to your space. I realize, as per usual, that we're running a little bit over time. If you can bear with me, we'll just take a few more moments. As you're resting on the mat, do another check-in with yourself. See how you're feeling. Notice what's coming into your mind now. And after the practice today, notice what is showing up for you. Take some deep breaths in and out. And then enjoy a really deep, delicious stretch, maybe from finger, toes, and everything in between, just really reaching and stretching, lengthening. And then pull the knees into the tummy. Give yourself another hug. And moving up to a seated posture. We've done a lot of deep stretching today. It should have all been familiar, but it doesn't mean it's not going to linger. So again, think about some additional hydration. Think about ways to further let that tension go. And again, as you're feeling that physical stress and tension rising in the body, meet that with your breath. Use the breath to guide and calm. And once we get that feeling of kind of equilibrium, then the mind is more free to think through some of the big things that are happening around us. One of the best things I've been hearing recently, especially important for somebody like myself, because I want to do and I want to make and I want to create and do all this stuff. Forward is a speed. So we don't have to do all the things. But sometimes moving forward in whatever incremental way is a massive achievement in itself. And by stretching deeply and breathing deeply, allows us to think deeply, which helps contribute to that forward motion. So that's my wish for folks today. Let's bring the hands together in front of the heart. Again, sending out love and care and peace and hope for all of those impacted by the storms in Ontario. And I hope everybody has a beautiful week ahead. Thank you so much for your time and your patience this morning. Namaste.
Thank you.